What is up, crazy fam? Guys, listen up. Today, we're going to be taking a look at this beautiful Diablo 4 Rogue Penetrating Shot build. By the way, I have around like 250 hours in the game already. I have no idea how the outside world looks. I don't know what grass is. I just hear stories about it. I haven't seen the sun for 2 weeks now. There's some people that knock on my door. They say they're family. It's very confusing. But with this overall build, you're pretty much going to be able to clear level 59 nightmares as long as you play smart. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's super easy. You're going to have to kite the enemies. But at the end of the day, it's completely possible. You just got to play smart. Okay, so we're going to start with the skills. We're going to be using puncture here. As you guys can see, I'm going to quickly go over all the skills. And then if you guys have any questions, make sure to ask in the comment section below. But pretty much this is the best option here. Everything is perfect in combination with penetrating shot, as you will see in the gameplay. And obviously, we're going to be using the penetrating shot itself. Unfortunately, I don't have a good roll on my gloves, or else I would have this higher, probably at around at least 8 points, hopefully 9 points if I get some good gloves. And I do keep the sturdy passive. You gain 12% close damage reduction. Sometimes the enemies rush you, get close to you extremely fast. You can't really do much about it, and this does come in handy. So this is really good for survivability. For the penetrating shot, we are going to be using the improved penetrating shot. For the passive, we're going to be using weapon mastery. This is very, very important. Now, a lot of people ask me why I use a bow. To be quite honest, I just love how it looks. I love the animation with the bow, and that's pretty much why I'm using it. I just have so much fun while wielding one of these bows. However, if you do want to make it probably a bit more higher damage and everything like that, you might want to play crossbows. That's going to be up to you. When I completely perfect this build, I might try a crossbow, but it's going to make me super sad. Here I have dash with 2 points, but we're not going to be using dash in this case. You can use this instead of the concealment if you so wish. For me personally, I think this is better because it also is unstoppable. And at the same time, when I use it, I get 40 energy, which is perfect. And every time I pretty much break the invisibility, I'm gonna have a guaranteed crit, which if you set it up correctly, is gonna be amazing for this build, and you're gonna be nuking everything. We are gonna be running Dark Shroud. The reason we're gonna be using this is pretty simple. We have one of the aspects on our gear that will proc this every time we deal critical damage with marksman skills. And the amazing thing is, obviously, puncture is a marksman skill, and so is penetrating shot. So it's a perfect combination. We do a lot of critical damage with this overall setup, which means that we're going to be having these beautiful dark shrouds rotating around us at all times, which gives us a lot of survivability. So 100%, I would advise running this. And obviously, we're going to take a look at the aspects. Then for the other passives, we're going to be running exploit. On top of that, we're going to be running Malice. As you guys can see right here, we have the Shadow Imbuement pretty much maxed out. I only have 1 point in Crash, but that's also going to be kind of up to you. If you guys want to switch it up a little bit, go ahead and do that. I would really advise for people to experiment more and try to find out the like builds and enjoy builds and play the game the way you want to play. I know that there are a lot of builds out there, but if it doesn't suit your play style and you're not having fun, you know, you're not going to enjoy it as much. So try to experiment, figure out your play style and implement it into the game. Then on top of that, we have poison imbuement. This is going to be there for the single target damage because penetrating shot suffers when it comes to that. Okay, if you don't have the poison imbuement, single target damage can be a problem. Another passive we're going to be rocking is precision imbuement. For the ultimate, we're going to be rocking the death trap, my favorite ability in the game. It looks cool, it sounds cool, everything about it is very, very nice. And on top of that, it's perfect for penetrating shot because it groups all of them up for you, makes it much easier to land the shot, and you're doing tons of damage. So obviously we're gonna level it up all the way. Trap Mastery is the one you want to max out. I was experimenting some stuff, so I didn't have it maxed out, but you definitely want to max out Trap Mastery. Right now, I'm gonna leave this as is. We have 1 point in Aftermath. We have 1 point in Adrenaline Rush, but that's just because we want to open up haste. And one thing I forgot to mention is when you're using Dark Shroud, I like to use this one right here, Subverting Dark Shroud. Each active shadow from Dark Shroud grants you 4% increased movement speed. And unfortunately on my gear, on my necklace, I don't have movement speed. I'm trying to find a good necklace with movement speed on it. And even then, I'm not going to remove this because moving around fast with penetrating shot is what makes it feel really good, because you're going to be able to kite enemies a lot. And finally, we're going to be running exposure. I mean, if you're running death trap, there's really no reason not to run this, guys. Now let's take a look at the gear. I will say the gear is not perfect. Once again, I'm going to be working on that. I'm going to be perfecting it, so stay tuned for that. This is the helmet right here. As you guys can see, we have +4 ranks of shadow imbuement. Cooldown reduction, one of the most important ones. The thing that I like about this helmet is that I get both the poison imbuement and the shadow imbuement. Now for the aspect on the helmet, you can really swap this out if you want. There's some other ones that are pretty interesting. Then on the chest piece, we have maximum life, total armor, damage with ranged weapons, damage reduction from close enemies, which is always helpful in this game because enemies can just close that gap extremely fast. And for the aspect, we're going to be using the basic skills, grant 20% damage reduction for 6 seconds. I was lucky enough to roll this at its max. Then with the gloves, we have dealing direct damage to vulnerable enemy has up to a 41% chance to daze them for 2 seconds. This comes down to the crowd control thing. And one thing I forgot actually to mention in the abilities, now that I think about it, is since we're dazing our enemies a lot, and this is very important, I don't know why I forgot this, we're using concussive. After knocking back or knocking down an enemy, you gain increased critical strike chance against them for 3 seconds. And we're also using, when you critically strike a dazed enemy, they are knocked down for 1 second. So you guys see the combination here. Now for the pants, we're going to be rocking damage reduction, maximum life, dexterity, damage reduction from enemies that are poisoned, because we are going to be poisoning enemies. And then for the aspect, critical strikes with marksman skills have up to a 48% chance to grant a free dark shroud shadow. Then on the boots, we have lightning resistance, not the best roll. Obviously in general, the boots is not my favorite piece. I really am trying to get a better one. Then on the weapon, we're going to be using a bow. I already explained why I use bows, and we're going to be using the trick shot on this one. Here are the swords. For the aspect, we're going to be using make an enemy vulnerable, has up to a 40% chance to grant 3% increased critical strike chance for 3 seconds. This will up our DPS by a lot. And then on the next one, we're going to be increasing our imbuement skill effects potency by 38%. I'm using the umbral aspect obviously on the ring, and since we're crowd controlling our enemies a lot, most of the time you're not even going to have an issue with the energy. Here's the second ring. Critical strikes with core skills increase your attack speed. And then on the necklace, this is a no-brainer. We are running the disobedience aspect. Now let's take a look at the Paragon points. I'm going to quickly go over this. Mostly going to focus on the glyphs because the rest you guys can see. And if you so wish, you can pause it and take a look and copy it. It's not like fully utilized yet and fully perfected, but it's pretty good and it works. So let's take a look. The first glyph I'm going to be using is the marksman skill damage, where it's 70% right here. The second one is obviously exploit. You want to be running this no matter what. It's super good pretty much for any build for the rogue, or honestly for any class at this point, because vulnerable is extremely powerful and it's meta. The legendary node we're going to be using here is no witnesses. Next one on the list is going to be the one and only combat. It's all about the critical strike damage with core skills, and this is exactly what this glyph provides. Oh, I forgot to take a look at the ruins on this one right here. We have 50% damage to healthy enemies. This is really good, guys, because we managed to do massive amounts of damage in cases where you have your combo points ready. Boom, you smash them with your penetrating shot, and there's huge numbers. Then we have knowledge, another plus 20% damage. Up here, we have some survivability, 8% maximum life, another 50% damage to healthy enemies. I absolutely love these nodes. But once again, guys, experiment. You don't have to copy this completely. Next node is going to be the Eldritch Bounty. When you attack with an imbued skill, you gain 20% resistance and 20% increased damage for that imbuement element for 6 seconds. And we're going to go for a lot of imbued skill damage. And honestly, that's pretty much all we do. Imbued damage. Ready supply, 20% non-physical damage. Imbuement damage is non-physical damage. So this is some extra damage for you right there. We have more imbued skill damage, and for the glyph we're going to be running efficacy. Now I haven't upgraded this one yet. Right now I don't have enough points to go all the way down to the glyph. I'm still not sure what I'm going to be slotting there, but I will update you guys in the future. And as for the node, we're going to be running the hunter killer. Now one thing I forgot to mention is that I'm also running combo points. That's what you want to do, guys. I feel like with penetrating shot, the whole goal here is to get as much damage as possible with that one shot. That's what makes it kind of exciting, right? Move around, position like an absolute madman, take the perfect shot at the right time, and do as much damage as possible. That's why I'm in love with this build, and I'm sure that's why you guys enjoy this build so much as well. I will be trying to push the nightmares as far as possible as I perfect my build. So I hope you guys enjoy the upcoming videos. Stay tuned for those. Okay, it's time to take a look at some of the highlights from the level 59 dungeon. Enjoy it. Thank you for the love and support. As always, ladies and gents, don't forget to share the positive energy all around. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one. I mean, we literally have the best community of all time.